Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Red Bra Project. I'm Renee, and I'm with my co-host tonight, Shawna.
Hello, in my red. I wore red.
I know, you're red. I'm shiny. I love it.
We sparkle together, though. It's good.
We do. So it's New Year's Eve.
It is. It's New Year's Eve. End of a year, month, and decade, my son told me today. So he ran that through for me.
He is so right, man. Yeah, and what a perfect time. So we're actually doing our Red Bra recap. So we are going to kind of give you the highlights over episodes 42 through 47. And while these are just the highlights, remember you can always go back to the Red Bra Project YouTube channel, get the full episode. You can get the blog, which has more in-depth highlights, a lot of really good stuff there, but you always get the full story on the Red Bra Project YouTube channel. So we're going to do a little bit of that. We're going to give you a couple personal updates and just talk about our new year ahead. So I think that sounds like a good plan.
I like our agenda. I think we're on a good path. So I'm going to start us off, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about this later, but I kind of wasn't involved in as many interviews, and I have to say it's so cool watching it from the other side too, though, and I get to see what our followers are seeing and really hear the story, not be thinking of the next question. And so episode 42, Andromeda Rahi, oh my gosh, like, talk about just inspiring. And also you had our co-host Jessica Brew from episode 30 with you. Shout out to, I think you mentioned maybe she was a little shy at doing it, but she held her own and did great on it. So but yeah, just, I mean, talk about waking up and just being okay with the decision you've made and not even looking at the fear angles. That's what I want to be more like Andromeda, because like it's just wow. And I don't know if you felt that way interviewing her, but you know, she had this whole movement and one day was like, you know, I'm going to rebrand myself. And I just think after putting 5 years of work into a company to come out and say, I'm going to change it today, and this is what I'm going to do. And even when she started her path at the beginning, that she went to her husband and was like, listen, you took this new job, but I'm going to stay home. I feel like she sets her mind to something. She knows she's going to do it. And I think if you have not watched the episode, you've not tuned, oh, I just hit my microphone. Everything's okay. But if you've not tuned in to watch her, I mean, as a viewer myself, I learned so much, and just, she's everything the Red Bra is trying to accomplish in like not being fearful and really just making those jumps and having your Red Bra moments. And I don't know if you'd agree, Renee, you were there talking to her that day.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. 100%. I mean, she is a powerhouse, but she is so down to earth. She's genuine, and she shares her story and her own hiccups and kind of her aha moments where she knew it was a pivotal point or a really big decision making part that she followed her gut, even regardless of when there wasn't a lot of people always, you know, saying that's going to be the right decision. They may have actually said the opposite, just looking out for her and her best interest. And she talks about how she really leaned in, listened to that voice, listened to her gut, you know, and has learned from her mistakes and from being vulnerable and by putting it out there. And I mean, it's just one of those stories that is real. And you definitely want to tune in for some inspiration and some motivation. Just killed it. I loved her perspective. I loved hearing the different questions. So just to give our viewers a little bit of like backstory, and here's a fun little fact about the Red Bra, but we'll send out kind of pre-show, pre-chat questions just to get the guests thinking and kind of get us going in a direction. And it always just serves as a guide. So we don't ever go bullet point or anything like that. We just allow the conversation to flow naturally, and we may use some of those as a conversational point or to get things kicked off, but we just kind of go with the flow. And so with Andromeda's story, it really just kind of sparked different parts of her story that we got to dig into and talk about. And one of the favorite things I'm going to share from that, and it's in the blog post, it's in our episode, of course, but one of the best pieces of advice that Andromeda shares is that you do your best with what you have and you forget the rest. So it's her winning strategy. And I think that once you think about that and you're like, okay, this is where I am today, this is what I have to work with, I'm going to do my best with what I have to work with, and I'm going to forget all of that. In a week, it may look completely different because that's how fast, things change. In a day, it could look completely different in a year. And so just by appreciating where you are and saying, you know what, I'm going to do my damn best with what I have and forget the rest. It really puts things into perspective. And for me, we chatted about this a little bit during the episode, but it's kind of like it takes a weight off your shoulders. So
yeah, she was just energy. And I know Jessica pointed out her vision board behind her in the end, and she was like, wait, I got that. Maybe not the billions I think that she had on there, but she could see the stuff she had accomplished all because she put her mind to it. And so I just,
so good.
If you have not watched episode 42, go back. I mean, you're going to watch all of these if you have not, but start there. And she's just, as a viewer myself, I want to get to know her more and follow her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And moving into episode 43, like, talk about somebody that the whole time I was watching it, I was like, oh my gosh, what a connection to Renee, what a connection to the Red Bra. Cheryl Hale, Girl Be Brave. I could start crying as I listened to her story. And just to kind of recap for our viewers, and also another co-host, former Red Bra, Vanessa Palencia, I think episode 18, she was one of our early ones, stepped in and assisted you on that. And Cheryl just, I think it was 2016, mom diagnosed with cancer, decided to pull out her grandmother's Bible, read from it, and in the back finds this note from her grandmother, Girl Be Brave. And just in hearing the story of her grandmother who, became a single mom at a time when people really weren't single mothers, was just trying to provide for her family. I think Cheryl used the phrase that if she could see now the movement that's happening, she'd be tickled. Just that she might not have saw herself as somebody, but those were Girl Be Brave, to think about when she wrote that, the time of where she was in her life, and just those are movements that we see on Instagram now, but social media wasn't a thing. And so for her to write those words, and for those words to just sit with Cheryl, and for her to know that she needed to do something, I just kept thinking about how you couldn't stop thinking about the Red Bra and how it weighed on you. And as I'm watching this interview and I'm thinking, I'm like, she is the perfect match, because she had that same tug on her heart and knew she had to move forward with it. And I think there's so many beautiful things that she shared, just about being confident in what you're doing, being okay with that decision, that maybe not everyone else supports you. You might lose people along the way, but it's making those choices in life that you believe in, and being brave with them, and being okay and sitting with that. And I loved her story. I love her current story. I think there's so much beauty in the work that she is doing. She's got an amazing book out that I'm like, maybe that's my 2020 that I need. I think that Girl Be Brave is so much more than just those words, but I think that where they started from, and your blog that you wrote for her, Renee, is just so amazing and really speaks to her grandmother as well. And so I think that if you've not checked out the video, or if you have, make sure you go over to the blog, because it gives so much more life to her grandmother and the story itself. And so kudos to you for well-written piece, and kudos to Cheryl for following what I think is a really purposeful vision that she's on a great path with.
Thank you so much. And that was a beautiful kind of highlight of her story. And I mean, talking about it can bring you to tears, because it really is, it's such a special story, because it's that generational story. And we're honoring, a woman who was her grandmother, and then her mother, and then her. And that just gives me goosebumps. We talk a little bit about,
oh my God.
Yeah. We talk a little bit about how, you do these things for your daughters and for the young women looking up to us. And I mean, it was just such a solid story. And so definitely, guys, we encourage you to go back and take a look at that. Vanessa, you did an amazing job. So thank you again to our amazing co-host. And, with Girl Be Brave, you guys will see that she has an entire amazing product line and inspirational quotes. She writes all of her own things. But the sole purpose of what she is also doing is to offer scholarships to women who need it. And there's a whole bit about that in there that's really important, because who knows, you may feel that somebody, or you yourself, who wants to apply for that scholarship. So please dig in, check that out, and see if that's a good match. So yes, so moving on to episode 44. So this was with Miss Veronica Benson. So coming to us out of Utah, Salt Lake City area. But Veronica was another really great story. So it was just jam-packed with tons of nuggets of kind of like wisdom. And that sounds so cheesy and corny to say, but I mean, we kind of dug into a little bit about her backstory. So about 11 years ago, her mom was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and she lost her mom. And so she was 25 years old and she was left with her 2 children. Her mom was her biggest cheerleader and friend, and she just really felt lost. I mean, as anyone could imagine, you know, going through that and feeling so young and just kind of like a, you know, a fish out of water a little bit, kind of flopping around and really craving that power of connection. And so as we know, as we get older, friends will come and go and different relationships form and things like that. And it can be tough to make friends as an adult. And especially when you have all these other responsibilities, you know, as women, you're wearing many hats as it is. And then you're like, you know, where do I carve out the extra hours in a day to cultivate these friendships and, you know, make them meaningful, if anything. You know, social media is wonderful, but sometimes you really need that face-to-face kind of real interaction in person. And so Veronica shares another, you know, one of those follow your heart, take a leap of faith stories. She's an entrepreneur at heart. She and her husband have launched many businesses, successful businesses. And so she's definitely solution oriented. She's a problem solver. So being a firstborn, she kind of dives in with that mindset. And so she shares a little bit about her backstory of going through that and what it felt like to her. And when she was finally like, you know what, I can't be the only one looking for connection. I know there's other people out there. And despite feeling fearful and despite feeling I could be alone once I put this out there, she did it. And she created an incredible local group, but anybody outside of that local group can come as well. But it's the Utah Women's Retreats. And this is a wonderful kind of retreat that women can go to. And she has about 2 to 3 large events a year, but then she also has smaller events where women get to come out for the weekend and join in and hear speakers. And she tailors all of her speakers and the subjects and everything like that to her audience. So it's never duplicated, but it's always customized, so to speak, for her group. She keeps it intimate, so women get to come and meet each other and start those friendships and learn about, you know, business things and share life things and woman stuff and mom stuff and boss stuff and all of these things right here in a safe environment. And I think that's really important because it's not just like a motivational, you know, speaking seminar or something like that, but it's an actual retreat where you can kind of, you know, as she puts it, put on your sweats, eat some Oreos, go makeup free, and really get to know each other.
That's where she won me over. I was like, all right, I'm going casual and we get jumping.
Absolutely. Got to bring a cup of milk and a fork for dunking those Oreos in. So yes, we definitely want you guys to go over and check out Veronica's episode, which is episode 44. And her retreat is coming up. So it is the second weekend of January at Bear Lake. And so she may still have some availability if you're looking for a weekend getaway. It's going to be gorgeous up there. And all the details are over through our blog or on her website, on her Instagram. And again, you can just go to theredbrawproject.com, go to the blog. You'll see her blog listed and all the information and links are in there as well. So, okay, now I'm like, I don't think I breathed that whole time. So hold on.
And take a drink.
Okay, so moving right on to episode number 25 or 45.
Back in time.
I swear.
We're moving into a new year, Renee.
Just water. So episode 45, we got to spend with and I'm not even making this up, the magical, the mystical, the amazing Tandy Gutierrez out of Brooklyn, New York. And she was nominated to us through another guest, Audrey Simpson. So she was one of our guests, gosh, way back when at the beginning. And she reached out to us and said, you've got to meet this incredible woman. And so we connected and we were connected from September all the way until November. And we recently were just able to highlight her. So Tandy shares her story with us. And she is just one of those people that you can talk with for such a long time. And the cool thing about Tandy's story is, so she's a healer, she's a coach, she's very intuitive, she's a wellness coach. But she shared with us a lot about her backstory and her personal journey over the past 20 years that led her exactly to where she is now and why she's able to offer what she's able to offer, and just as a healer and her expertise and everything. And so she has several autoimmune diseases. She struggled with anxiety, with depression. She has struggled with finding answers through regular medicine, through diet, through combination, and through many, many years of trial and error. She has found a beautiful way to blend movement, spirituality, Western and Eastern healing philosophies, and just make it into this incredible healing journey. And I think that is the best way to describe it. And so she used to have a brick and mortar years and years ago, kind of where, and you can listen to our episode, but it's so funny. We talk about Skype. It's kind of like when Skype was born back in 2000-ish. But when she was kind of merging into the online portion, she would Skype with some of her clients at that point. And at the time, she's like, who Skypes? What is this video to video? And it's so funny because you never know where it's going to lead you. But, you know, seeing how all of her dots connected and listening to the journey, it's so awesome. So she actually has an online wellness studio called Unicorn Wellness Studio. And it is just a unique boutique style, just very highly organized, exquisite training. And I mean, you have everything from yoga and Pilates workouts. And I mean, these are micro and macro movements. So they are like honing in on your body in 30 minutes a day. And they're incredible. I mean, the testimonials speak for themselves, but it's not just that, it's healing kind of the mind, the body, and the soul. And so she is just incredible. And I feel like she gave us such a gift in our episode because it applies to the decade coming up, guys. So she does a little insight in one of her readings and shares about goal setting and kind of what to expect and when to act for the new decade, and kind of what to keep in mind as you're planning and thinking about, you know, those New Year's goals and those intentions and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's perfect as we head into the new decade, because I think everybody creates these goals, but then it's like, oh, it's January 13th, I'm done with them. And so having that mindfulness and that vision to continue with them. So I think it's a great episode, and she is just amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm like, I want to tell everybody about what she says about planning and when to act and things, but I know that I will not.
They need to watch.
I know I will not serve it justice. You need to hear it from her, and all of the incredible just insight she has, because I got done with that episode and I was like, wow, these are major takeaways. So, and if there's anyone looking, this is a great time of year too, just for an answer in terms of, I want to feel better. I don't want to be so tired. Maybe you are struggling with an autoimmune disease or struggling, you know, anxiety. I mean, I feel like everybody gets anxious and we go through, you know, different times that we're depressed. It's normal. We're human. And so if you are struggling right now and you feel defeated, go check out Tandy and all of her information, the unicornwellnessstudio.com. And again, everything will be linked on our page, but that's a good place to start.
Yeah, she is wonderful. Wish I had been there, but thank you for welcoming me back to episode 46 with Ashley Steed. I mean, how our path has come with aviation, women in aviation, has been very exciting. Another international guest for us as well out of Canada. Ashley, I left that interview smiling, feeling just so happy, and like, man, I should just accept what is in front of me and not be afraid to take on these challenges, which I really think a lot of the guests, maybe a lot of ours always, but especially in this recap, it feels like they looked fear in the face and were like, no, I'm doing this. And Ashley is exactly that. Started working kind of in the baggage area, and then was like, maybe I should be a flight attendant, because that's more up my alley and I enjoy that. And now is getting her commercial pilot license, because that's really what she wanted to do. And I just think, what an incredible journey from where she started, just kind of starting there too, not really knowing what she wanted to do, and not being afraid of the fact that many of the pilots she were seeing were men, and that maybe women were going into it, but they weren't going into get the commercial license. She tells the amazing story of going to test for it, and the pilot was not there, or the instructor could not take her on this, and pushing through the fear of like, all right, well, we're going to do this. I came all this way. I'm here. I'm ready. When I left that interview, I was like, I want to be like Ashley, because nothing stopped her. She was like, you know what? I'm going to be a flight attendant. I'm going to enjoy this for the time. I I think she was working in like, I can't remember the specific word she used, but I remember she kept saying like secure baggage or something like, I don't know if you remember, Renee, but it was something like where it was like something more security related and really having to focus. And so Ashley, I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact phrase, but going from that and then moving into more of a joyful role of being a flight attendant and having to be on every day, and then realizing that your real passion was to be a pilot, and not just a pilot, but a pilot of a commercial airline, and just talk about breaking that glass ceiling and being like, screw it. I don't see women doing this, but I'm going to do it because this is what I want to do. And I just, if I could have named her Red Bra moments for her, I'm like, it's this, because it's like every day, I think, for her. She just wakes up and she puts her mind to it and nothing stops her. And she doesn't think about the other side of it. She sets her mind on what she wants to do. And I think as we look at the new decade, if more of us can do that, I just think we'll all be better off. And it's we're going to talk about it later, but getting rid of fear is an important thing, I think, for all of us, and a similar message from a lot of our guests.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I have goosebumps as well talking about these last 6 of the year, so to speak, that we're chatting about, because you can kind of hear in their storylines. I mean, we are repeating it, but in different ways, slightly different versions. That, yeah, the fear was there. Yes, I had no idea. I did not know what was next, but I just kept moving forward. And with Ashley, it was so neat because her perspective is very analytical. It's very black and white. And so I loved hearing that, because she literally takes fear and just breaks it down piece by piece. So she just bullet points it and is like, this is what it is. Why am I going to let this stop me? Because it's this, and this. Okay, I know what this is and this. I'm going to set that there. I'm going to keep moving forward. And so you have to tune in, because if you're struggling with fear, if you have something on your heart and on your mind, and you just feel like stuck in quicksand, I can't move forward, listen to Ashley's take on fear and how you break it down. And she just makes it so black and white. You're like, I can do that.
I appreciate that she also said too, like, I had to teach myself this. It didn't come naturally, but
you practice.
Yeah. And I think that's an important piece too. So everyone's like, oh, well, okay, I can't do that. She's built that way. No, we all have to train ourselves to untrain what we've been taught all these years of questioning everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it does take work and practice, and then eventually it just starts clicking. So start with the little things, even like procrastination. I mean, procrastination is so annoying, but it's like, all right, just rip the Band-Aid off. 1, 2, 3, jump. Mel Robbins' book, just do it. So
can we interview her?
I know. We've talked about her book 5,010 times.
But yes, Ashley, thank you for joining us as our guest. And I hope that you all will go over and watch her amazing transition to be a commercial pilot. She's also told me I'm not allowed to be afraid on flights anymore. She called me out on it. So heading into 2020, I just have to get on planes, which I do anyways, but I can't be afraid anymore.
Yeah, you probably have your next flight booked, don't you?
I do. Yep, 2 weeks.
Super. We'll make sure to tune back in and check it. Oh man, that's awesome. So we are going to wrap with episode number 47. So yes, I knew you would love this one, but it is such an important message. We had the honor of sitting down and speaking with Tiana Washington. So she comes to us out of New York City. A little whoop whoop for New York. We've got quite a few people coming out of that state right now, or this month. But Tiana is a licensed social worker, and so she specializes in mental health and social work and things like that. But what we really dove in and talked about was her small business that she launched called T Speaks NYC. And what she's doing is she's doing such an important job of creating awareness and bringing to the forefront and having those tough conversations about mental illness and awareness and bullying and self-love and all of those things that as adults we talk about, and many of us have either talked publicly or gone into therapy and kind of worked it out. We're still working through stuff, but she is bringing it to our youth. And so she is having those conversations with our youth and letting them know it's okay. It's okay to feel like this. Let's talk about it. Why? But then she's taking it to the next level. She is teaching coping mechanisms.
I mean, I watched her and wanted to cry, and like happy tears, you know, just at the work she's doing. And I think that she talks about her own bullying and how she was close to her family, but she didn't even feel comfortable talking to them about it. And you know, she was teased for her skin color. And I think that her having those stories to share with the youth and say, listen, I was you, and here's what I wish I had had. And I think that, and we've had guests before that are working. And I think the more we can empower our youth, so they're not sitting here in their 40s going, why am I so fearful? I think her work is her work professionally is amazing with the cognitive disability work that she's doing as a social worker. And then this on top of it, she's just, I hope people tune in. I know her episode went up right around the holidays. So if you've not watched it, please go back, because there's so much depth to her story and her work. I didn't mean to cut you off. Just
no, I love it.
Time to sit.
Yeah, no. And I mean, like you said, I mean, and tackling those issues at any age is wonderful when you're ready. And so I think the importance here, though, is, you know, just because, you know, a lot of people may think that youth don't actually have all of these issues, but the thing is our youth really tend to internalize that and not feel comfortable talking about it, and, you know, be afraid. And the biggest thing is learning those coping mechanisms. And so by her teaching coping mechanisms at such a young age, and a tool they can carry throughout their life and tweak and, you know, form and work to address their needs as things change, is so huge. And I mean, she's literally helping to transform lives of youth and families impacted by domestic violence, generational trauma, mental illness, everything like that. And so she gets pretty vulnerable in sharing some of her own personal story and her personal goals. So towards the end, as I said, you know, we don't always follow the course of the questions, and we were naturally led into a pretty tough question actually about vulnerability. And she opens up and shares about that. And it's so cool just to see her speaking from her heart and not having any barriers up. And it's just, she's genuine. She's an amazing woman, and the connection is something you can feel through the technology, through the video. So and then of course we have a laugh because she is joining us from her Zen Den, which I love. So she gives us all the tips about how to create your own Zen Den, which going into 2020 I think sounds amazing. I want a Zen Den. I'll start with flowers.
In your tiny house, we'll get you a Zen Den.
That's right. I'll carry my candle around with me. I have my board, you know. So, but she has some great tips for creating a Zen Den on any budget, on wherever you are. So hers is super tranquil. And so you got to tune in, hear what she's doing, and help support her, help support all of these women. And we're just so excited. And thank you to all of our incredible co-hosts. I mean, you guys are rocking it out there, and it's so fun to have you. So just a little backstory for all of our viewers. All of our co-hosts have been on the guest side as well. And so having them join us kind of where the camera's turned a little bit is always so fun too. So it's an amazing opportunity, and we appreciate you all so much. So thank you.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch them come back, give a little bit of story of what they've been doing. Like Vanessa got married in the meantime and
moved across country.
Right. I mean, it's just it's exciting. Hopefully our viewers are enjoying it too. So they're seeing people come back. And yeah, it's been a turn for me. I know I've made some changes this fall. Renee is a blessing always, but understood my needs with my new job that I had to jump in. I think you said in a video, feet first, but I think it's dive head first.
Exactly. You know me in words.
I new field altogether for me, and really needed the focus, and Renee is just a blessing, like I said, and allowed me the opportunity to still stay connected to the Red Bra, but my time with travel has been a little bit different. And so thank you to our co-hosts who have been there to meet our other guests and hopefully form connections themselves. But I have taken a little bit more of a back seat, and I props to you because you are rolling with it. I mean, it's been your vision all along. I've always said that, and it's just, I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. But the viewers obviously need to know who is the behind them. I just finished The Masked Singer, so you're kind of like behind the mask to me is my phrase right now. It's a show with my kids. We had to watch it. It's actually pretty good.
Love it. It's cute.
But yeah, you're the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, and deserve your spotlight. So.
That is so just kind and sweet of you to say. But
True.
yes, for our viewers, the Red Bra Project is something that Shawna and I will always be a part of. And so we just wanted to be, you know, keep you guys up to date on the new happenings. And when things change, we're going to roll with it and change again. But Shawna is a very crucial part in the birth of the Red Bra Project and the creation and everything to where we are today. And so absolutely love having her be a part of it, and her humor and her fun spirit and just your positive energy and everything. So yes, so you are still behind the curtain, just in a different way. And you'll continue to co-host with us into 2020 here and there. And so I love it because you kind of pop up and you get to
come back.
both sides. I know. Yeah. So speaking about 2020, what is something on your personal, like, do you do vision boards, or do you write it out, or do you just kind of picture it? What do you do?
Yeah. So I want to go and like decoupage a whole like vision board and have like all my magazines, but right now I just have words, which Andromeda has said is okay because that was her whole board. So some words that pop out for me going into 2020, forgiveness for myself. I feel like I'm always so hard on myself and I don't let things go. And so as we enter a new decade, a new year, I'm just going to be more forgiving of myself, which is part of my self-care as well. And I have fear listed out very big, but not because I want to choose fear, but I want to stop it from, you know, really running my life. I think that it's something that obviously I recognize has always been a challenge for me. There's this voice right here. And so I'm trying to shut it up more. It's on this bad side of my hair. Right here is where the bad sits.
You're messing up my hair, boys.
And one last, so the universe too. I'm putting out there, you know, I have lots of friends that speak of the law of attraction, put out what you want back. And so that's the energy that I want to give off this year is stop thinking the negative thoughts and put out the positive, and hopefully it does come back to me. So
I love it. I love it all so much. And thank you for sharing. And you've had, I mean, I told you this kind of earlier, but I feel like 2020 is going to be an incredible year for you. I mean, you've had a lot of change, you know, especially 2018, and then kind of making it all work and getting to the new routines and everything new in 2019. And now you're kind of settling into this Shawna groove, and I'm loving it because you just, I mean, I can feel it. So, I mean, give yourself a huge hug and know that we are supporting you, and, you know, you have done a lot of incredible work. So we're very, very proud of you.
I can see where I was in 2018, and I can see the growth of 2019, and I'm hopeful for even more in 2020.
Oh yeah, it's like a snowball. It's just going to keep going.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Without the snow, I don't need to shovel.
No shovels. I forgot. Yeah, you're in New England.
Yeah. Okay. But after you take your sip, how about you? I bet you have a beautiful vision board already made, right?
No. So the thing is see, the cool thing about vision boards is like, I actually added to the one I had last year, and it's just magazines, and it's literally on like 11 by 13, and it's hung behind my robe on the door, and I have a digital one when I'm on the road or whatever, but it's words and it's a few pictures. But this year I haven't added to it yet. I just journaled and kind of reflected on 2019, put out my intentions, what I wanted for 2020. And so one of the big things is I just want to have more fun without the weight of heaviness. So, and I don't mean just like, let's plan a trip, let's go do this. I just mean in the day-to-day stuff. Like, I just want to have more fun and make it less heavy in day-to-day stuff, because why can't we have fun? I mean, you get one life. Yeah, I got to go do errands. I got to go to the grocery store. I get to choose my mood. And if I want to have fun with it, then I should have fun with it. So that was a big one for me. The second thing is and this was on last year, but to continue to be intentional with my time, not just my time, but my thoughts, my energy, and how I choose to react, because all of that I've learned that you can control. And when I'm intentional about that, I'm a better person. So, you know, you react more intentionally and less emotionally, so to speak. So there's that. And then it was also on my vision board last year, but I think it's a muscle that can continue to be worked, is I want to continue to improve on listening. So I want to continue to be a good listener for others, and actually, again, be intentional with my time.
I interrupt you. I think you're an amazing listener.
Thank you. But yeah, it's a muscle. But thank you so much for saying that. So yes, I want to, again, be intentional with that time and be a good listener. And then I wish I should grab my thing. I had another one written out, but intentional, fun. Oh, more firsts. I just want more firsts. And I don't mean like, oh gosh, let's go bungee jumping. I mean just doing things a little differently. Maybe I switch up my routine. Maybe I do something, maybe I switch up the color of my eyeshadow. Maybe I do, maybe I switch, something different for the first, and just kind of keep that open mind that different things can be done a different way to avoid tunnel vision. So I want to keep my perspective growing and just kind of have that as as part of my 2020 journey. So.
Love it. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. So I guess that's a wrap. I really don't want to hit end, but this is the last episode for us of 2019.
Of 2019.
It's technically episode 49. Can you believe that? We almost made it to 50.
So new decade, new numbers, starting with 50 when you enter into 2020.
Just about. We're almost there. So we've got great lineup planned for 2020. Lots of exciting things at the Red Bra Project. We want to take a second just to say thank you. Thank you to all of our incredible followers and friends and women and supporters out there in the Red Bra community. Thank you for sharing your stories and nominating each other and just cheering each other on. So thank you.
Yes, and we hope for more of that to come in 2020. The nominations have been great. I love that guests are nominating other friends, be like, hey, you need to check this person out. And it's everything that we wanted it to be, women encouraging women. And so I think that it's beautiful to kind of see it actually come into place.
It's so awesome. And I love watching our guests connect with each other and just kind of have their own relationships. And it's such a beautiful thing. So, and in case people are wondering, do I have to have a certain story? Does it have to be a certain, this, that, or the other thing? No, it doesn't. It just has to be your story, and you have to be ready to share it. And, we talk about leaps of faith and journeys and work. And, sometimes we talk about battling with illness or, a dark time or becoming a mother or a wife. There's all kinds of different stories. So basically, any story, we want to hear from you. So reach out to us, let us know, and we'll take it from there and, see if there's a good fit.
Perfect. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. And remember, if you're not doing so already, you're on our channel now. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, the bell for notifications, and like this post. And then head over to Instagram and follow at the Red Bra Project. And once you're done there, head over to the website, theredbraproject.com, where you can see all of these blogs we referenced tonight, link up to our guests in other ways. And we just hope that you continue to follow our journey in 2020, as we will be watching you as well. So Happy New Year. I'm toasting with coffee.
And water. And don't forget to wear those red bras always, ladies. Yeah. All right.
A little shimmy.
That's right. Happy New Year.
Everyone. Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.